Welcome to Jaja Academy Lahore. Today we are going to discuss how an application software is developed. The process of developing an application software is known as Software Development Lifecycle. Its acronym is SDLC. The process of SDLC is a teamwork. Many people like analysts, programmers, software engineers, hardware engineers, etc. are involved in this process. SDLC consists of 7 phases. Number 1 is preliminary investigation. Second phase is analysis phase. The third phase is design phase. Fourth is coding phase. Fifth is testing. Sixth is implementation. And the last one is maintenance phase. Each phase produces an outcome on which the next phase depends. For example, the preliminary investigation phase decides whether to start a project or not. If the report of preliminary investigation is okay, then the software development team starts analysis. Otherwise, the process stops right here at the stage of preliminary investigation. Similarly, on the basis of analysis report, the design phase is based, and so on. If the software development team finds any mistake at any specific phase, it can go back to identify the problem and correct that mistake. For example, if the team comes to know about a mistake on testing phase, they can go back on coding or design or analysis phase to rectify the problem. These back arrows are showing the backward path. You can see here this direction, the direction shown by green arrows represent that team can go back in case of any mistake. And the normal flow or the progress of SDLC goes this way. Now let's discuss these phases in detail, starting from the preliminary investigation phase. The purpose of this phase is to identify whether the need of developing a particular software really exists. To check this need, the current system is studied. Current system is the system where the user is currently working. If the current system does not satisfy the need of users working on that system, then go decision will be made. It means the new system should be made to satisfy the requirements of users who are working on the current system. So the system is identified and go or no go decision is made here. If no deficiencies are found in the current system, then no go decision is made here. And the preliminary investigation stops right here. But if after the system identification, go decision is made, then system scope is identified. The new system, we can call it a proposed system. So the proposed system scope should be identified. And the scope is decided on the basis of available resources and the requirements of users. If there are sufficient resources to fulfill all the requirements by users, then there is no problem. But if the requirements need more resources than those of available resources, then the software team has to limit the scope of the proposed system. After defining the system scope, the team will go for alternate solutions. What is meant by alternate solutions? Whenever we have to perform any task, there are multiple ways to accomplish that task. So, among those multiple solutions or multiple ways, the team has to choose the best solution. And the best solution would be the solution that fulfills the requirements of users within the available resources. After defining system scope and alternative solutions, a feasibility report is made. Team finally decides whether to start the project within the given resources or to stop here. After feasibility study, a feasibility report is made that tells whether to proceed with developing the new software or not. If the feasibility report is satisfactory, Then a preliminary plan is prepared, and that preliminary plan is the outcome of preliminary investigation that is made after going through all these activities. Now this preliminary plan would be handed over to the analysts for the analysis phase. Now let's discuss the analysis phase. Once decided that a new software is going to be developed, the software team enters in analysis phase. Analysis is also known as system analysis. In this phase, first of all, the users are asked to tell their requirements or their expectations from the proposed system. And for this purpose, in order to gather the requirements from user or in order to know about the needs of users, data gathering is done. Data gathering means collecting the requirements from users. There are several ways of data gathering, such as written documents, interviews, questionnaires, observations, and sampling. In this technique, the users are asked to write down their requirements and their expectations from the proposed system and provide those written documents to the analysis team. In the next technique, interviews, the software team can interview users to get to know about their requirements. In the third technique, which is questionnaires, questionnaire is a document on which some questions are asked from users to which they have to answer. From those answers, the requirements of users are analyzed. In the next technique, the analysts can gather requirements by observing the working place of users where they feel deficiencies for which they have decided to develop a new system. The last technique is sampling technique. The sampling technique is used when there are a large number of users and it is not possible to take their interviews or to observe them. So instead of collecting requirements from all the users, some of them are selected and then any of the above technique is used to gather information from that selected group. So these were the data gathering techniques through which the analysts gather user requirements. After gathering data from users, that data or requirements are analyzed. And this process is called data analysis. Some tools are used to analyze data, which are DFD, data flow diagram, flowcharts, decision tables, etc. These tools are beyond the course of ICS, so we are not going to discuss them in detail. At the end, an analysis report is designed by the analysts, and this report should have 3 parts. Number 1, it must explain the current system where the users are working and they are finding deficiencies for which they are expecting a new system. Number 2, the problems or the deficiencies in the current system are identified and explained in detail. And the last thing that is described in the analysis report is what are the expectations of users from the new system. The new system which is going to be developed. After generating the analysis report, the analysts enters in the design phase. The design phase consists of 2 stages, logical design and physical design. First of all, the logical design is prepared where some tools or softwares are used to design the proposed system. For example, MS Project, Gantt charts, etc. are used to prepare different screens of the proposed system that show how the proposed system will look like. Then these screens or the logical design is shown to the users for their approval. If they are satisfied with the logical design, then this logical design is made physical. Inside the physical design, resources are allocated to the proposed system. For example, databases are connected, networks are made, and different methods are used to fulfill the requirements of users, such as what would be the input requirements, output requirements, processing requirements, and what methods should be adopted to provide backup and recovery features, etc. After the logical and physical design, a report is generated about logical and physical designs, and then this report is submitted to the higher management. The coding phase is the core area of software development process. In this phase, a programming language is selected to write the code for the proposed system. Programming language may be C, C++, Java, HTML, or any other language that is suitable for the proposed system to be written in. The design report is given to the coders or programmers, and they write code according to that document. The coding phase consumes a lot of financial budget and a lot of time. After coding, the proposed system is ready to be tested. In the testing phase, two types of testing is done: unit testing and system testing. Unit testing is also known as modular testing, as the modules prepared by programmers are tested individually. The modules are tested one by one. That's why unit testing is also known as modular testing. In the system testing, in this technique, parts or modules are linked together to test their workability as a one system, as a whole system. If the system passes all the tests, the system is ready to be installed on servers, so that the users or the organizations for which the proposed system was prepared can use the system and give their feedback. So after the testing phase, there is an implementation phase. The newly developed system or software can be implemented in different ways. For example, in the direct implementation, the new system is directly provided to the user to start using the system. The second method is parallel implementation. In this implementation, user uses the old system as well as the new system in parallel. The user keeps on working on the old system and learns the new system and is gradually shifted from old system to the new system. The third implementation way is phased implementation. In the phased implementation, parts of the system are implemented from time to time until the whole system is implemented. The last technique is pilot implementation. In this implementation technique, the whole system is implemented but not for all users, for a selected group of users. After the implementation of newly developed software, a variety of methods or tools are used to provide trainings to the users so that they get familiar with the new system and ensure its efficient usage. The last phase is maintenance phase. In this phase, maintenance and help is provided to the users against their problems and queries. In the maintenance phase, the system is evolved according to the feedback of end users. This was the complete process of developing a software, which is known as Software Development Life Cycle, SDLC. If you have any problem, you can ask me by writing your question in the comment box. Thank you for watching. For more informative videos, subscribe to my channel.